For most guitarists who are learning, bar chords present a little bit of a problem. So we start off doing C, A, G, E and D. Those sort of 5 main shapes, and it's fine because you're just putting your fingers in individual positions and you kind of learn the ropes there. But what happens when you put the bar on? Well, for some people it sort of sounds like this. You think, how are we going to get around this? Let's have a look. So bar chords, they're quite tricky because we've got to get one finger that goes across all 6 strings, well mostly 6, sometimes it's 5 for example if you've got a C chord, but it's getting that finger to be straight. Now I've set up another camera here so that you can see more of a sort of point of view of the guitarist looking at their own fretboard. So we've got an E chord which does this. Now I always play an E chord with my last 3 fingers, because I use a lot of bar chords. Some people learn E with the first 3 fingers, and that's absolutely fine. If you use the first 3 fingers for all of your shapes, that's absolutely fine. But if you're going between open and bar chords, sometimes you can cut out an extra step by simply playing an E, for example, with your last 3 fingers. Which means that I can then play an F chord. Now, if you play an F, which you're likely to see, if you've got a sequence, maybe A minor, C, G and F, you might find that F is the only bar chord in that sequence, so it's worth learning F. That means you've basically got most of your natural chord numbers, chord notes. So F is one of those chords that you're really handy to learn. Now, how do we do this then? Well, for a start, we've got to make sure that we're not holding the guitar up. So if you sat down like this or whatever, you've got to make sure that the guitar is sat actually hanging from the strap so that you're not having to actually hold it at all. Indeed, it may be easier to do this standing up with wearing the guitar with a strap, because actually it means that you can manipulate your hand, you can get your hand around the neck without actually having to hold the thing as well. So if we start with E, you can see that there's quite a space underneath my hand here, underneath the neck towards my hand. There is enough space that I can fit a Sharpie underneath. We want to minimize our contact with the guitar. We don't want to sort of be squeezing it like this. The moment you do that, you're kind of on a losing streak. So if I play E, my thumb is kind of in the middle of the neck at the back here, not round like this, it's in the middle like that. So if I go from E to F, essentially what I do is I keep the shape, move up a fret, and then I have to get my first finger to go all the way across. Now there's quite a lot of things going on here. We've got to have arched fingers for the chord shape and a straight finger for the bar. Ideally you need your finger straight from the knuckle all the way to the tip, like this, and for your thumb to exert equal and opposite pressure from the other side of the neck. Experiment with the position of your bar finger in terms of a sort of vertical sense as well. It may work better if you've got the tip of your finger right on the 6th string, or indeed that you've got your tip of your finger well above it. It doesn't really matter that we can't put the Sharpie under there, it's mostly for the chord shape. But we don't want to sort of be grabbing the neck like this, because it's going to hurt and actually you don't get anywhere. If you sort of squeeze, you might actually only get that. Whereas actually with the amount of pressure you really do need, which is very little to make those strings press against the frets, you're better off with a nice sort of round shape of your hand. Getting your wrist around the guitar, it's kind of that sort of shape, so that you've got a constant curve being drawn by your arm all the way to the tips of your fingers. And if we translate that to here, you find that you've got your bar chord fairly ready-made. Don't allow your elbow to touch your side. If you approach the neck at too much of an angle, what's going to happen is that your fingers here actually aren't vertical with respect to the fretboard anymore. They're just sort of... So bringing your arm out, your thumb round, so that you get a nice straight finger from knuckle to tip. And notice also that my finger is right on the fret here. It's not sort of halfway up, it's right on the fret. And you know that you've got the bar chord really sorted when you're not having to apply too much pressure, but the chord will last as long as you want it to without any buzzing. Etc, etc. Now you can bar A shapes as well. If I've got an A chord, which I've played with my last 3 fingers again, you can play it with the first 3, but if you play it with the last 3, it means that you can go straight to a bar chord. So if we try this in the same place, the same sort of first fret, we've now got a B flat chord, for example, there. I've got a B chord here and a C chord here, and all the way up. You can learn the positions of the bar chords by trying a C as an A shape and comparing it to an open C, and they're quite similar. You can learn a G chord as an E shape. So you can start piecing together where those bar chords are. We can bar a C shape. Now C, my first 3 fingers there, if I play it with my last 3 and move up, you can get all of your other chords there as well. Notice with a C shape though, and actually this does go for the A shape as well, ideally the 6th string shouldn't sound. It just makes it bottom heavy. You need the bass note, which is your 5th string, or the second one down as you're looking at it. So that means with your bar chord, what you can actually do with the bar finger here is to lightly touch the 6th string but not actually play it. So that when you strike the 6th string, it's just damped. You can bar G shapes, it's a bit harder, but if we've got a G chord with the last 3 fingers, that's a bit of a fistful there, but we can actually economise on a G shape by doing this. Bar finger across 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings, lifted slightly to mute the 1st string, and last finger here muting the 2nd string. So we've actually only got 4 strings. It's similar to an A shape. So if I've got C shape here, G shape or A shape, you've got a similar sort of thing going on here. Now, just a little thing with that A shape. With the 3 fingers here, I could actually just use 1 finger across those 3 strings, but missing the 1st string out. And what you do with that is you actually lift your finger slightly, sort of flatten the last finger and lift it slightly so that it catches the 2nd string, but not the 1st. So you can get round the guitar using all of these bar chords. So just to summarise, make sure that your bar finger is as straight as possible from knuckle to tip, and that your thumb is in the middle of the neck on the underside, not round like this. So if you've got that, you've got a nice sort of open position in which to apply whichever shape you want, whether it be a G shape, a C shape, an A shape, an E shape, or a D shape, like that. That's kind of how it works.